Summer is well and truly upon us. It's mid-July. If you haven't got yourself a boat already, what are you waiting for? We're down in Looe today. I'm going to be showing you how much fun you can have on one of these small inflatable boats. Pretty much low tide right now. It's only about half a metre of water. But I'm in no rush. And I'm really not stressing about the tide being so low. Let's get this. Oh, take it out of gear first, but let's get this Parson running here. 9.8 horsepower 4-stroke. This is a great little setup, this boat. Really is the perfect balance of portability and comfort. So we're gonna go out today on the open coast, do a bit of exploring. Of course, I'm gonna do some fishing as well. Mid-July now, you know, the water temperatures are well up. This bridge can be a great spot for bass. always have a little look in the water, see if I can see any. Tide's racing out now. Not many boats would be able to set off at this stage in the tide. But on a sib, it really is as easy as it gets. All right, let's get up on the plane. Oh, what a good feeling. Woo! Right, so for reference, that's Looe there. This is Looe Island, and then this is a reef called Wrasse, and it's coming up to low tide, so the rocks are super exposed right now, and well, there's quite a lot of reef that sort of runs all along here. Now, I'll be honest, these westerly, northwesterly winds, a bit more than I was expecting. Or at least a bit more than the forecast was given. It does look a little bit sort of disturbed and messy, the other side of the reef there. But this is all acting as shelter along here. And then this whole part of the bay, well, it just looks nice and calm. So we should be in a good position to fish this side of the bay. So I'm using this Akuma rod at the moment. It's a really nice light little rod paired up with a little 2,500 Daiwa. It's just a nice light setup, and really you don't need much more. This is rated to 20 grams. You don't need much more than that fishing inshore like this. It's got enough backbone to pull up the wrasse when they're trying to get into the snags, and yet, you know, you get a 2-pound bass on this and it's still a lot of fun compared to the heavier spinning rod. So I am going lighter and lighter with my fishing nowadays. It's just sort of a trend that I think a lot of people are following, but it just gives you a bit more fun out of the smaller fish inshore, and you don't necessarily need a really strong rod to lift them out of a wreck or snag or something like that, or, you know, especially when we're fishing in light conditions like this. It just adds an extra element of fun to it all, really. And I picked this rod up from Osborne Craig in Plymouth. Great fishing shop, that one. It's one that I often use when I'm in need of a new rod, just because they have an awesome selection, and they'll always do you a good deal. They'll always give you a good price, fair price, that's for sure. It's a good thing about having a fish finder. I got mine just down there like that. You can just see the fish below the boat, and instead of casting and retrieving the lure, you're just dropping it straight down on them. It's only a tiny schoolie, this. Well, it's just nice to get onto a couple of fish, isn't it? You know, sometimes it's not all about catching the big ones. It's just about getting out there. Just watch it when you're handling these guys. Those spines are really, really sharp. They will, if you put your hand around it like that, it's gonna hurt. Same with the gills, all right? Same with the gills around here. Very, very sharp points on them. So I like to grab them sort of like this, just behind the head. And on the bigger ones, you can grab them in the lips, but yeah, they're all flared up. Do not drop this fish on the deck, whatever you do. it will put lots of holes in one of these air decks. Wrasse and bass and bream are going to be the ones that, if you drop it, when it starts flapping around, every time it flaps, it's going to put a little hole in that material. So try and handle them over the side of the boat, or make sure you've got a really good hold of them. Well, it's just a fish a cast at the moment on this reef. I think this might be a wrasse, because he's just playing dead. Fair bit of weight to it. It always feels heavy though on these light rods. Yeah, it's a nice wrasse. Oh my goodness. It's a really good fish down there. What's he doing? It's just chilling. I don't know if you can see that very well. That's a really good wrasse. Let's get the net out. Yeah, let's get the net out for this guy. Oh. It's a funny thing about wrasse sometimes is they sort of just don't do a lot. That is a stonking fish though. So we've had a pollock, a bass and a wrasse, all the species that I would have expected on this reef. This guy just did not fight at all. I've had mackerel that fight harder than that. Lovely looking bad and wrasse there though. So I don't mind resting them on the tubes like this because the tubes are quite strong material, but I don't like resting them on the deck. Wow, look at the colours. Oh, okay. Chill. Look at the colours on that fish. See if I can hold him up to you. Chill. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful ballan wrasse there. That is amazing. Nice fish. Really nice big chunky one. Oh, that westerly wind is right up now. It's blowing strong, so get yourself one of these drogues if you don't already. The most useful bit of kit you can get for under 20 quid on a boat of this size. And it really is as simple as tying it off to the painter and chucking it over the side. And that cone is just going to catch the water. Once the line comes tight, it's going to catch the water. It's going to face our bow. Ready? That's it catching there now. See it opening up. There we go. And the boat is spinning. And we're going to go bow into the wind, which is great. Makes it more comfortable on the boat. And it's going to slow us down to a really good speed for drift. Going to bring us down from a knot and a half drift to probably just under a knot. All right, we're going to do the same drift again because that was really productive along this section of reef. But this time, instead of a crazy paddle tail sand eel imitation, we're going to use this black minnow. More of a sort of pilchard or whitebait imitation lure. I think we should, well, my hope is that I'm going to get onto a decent wrasse with this. I really like using a black minnow for the wrasse because I can work it nice and close to the reef and not have to worry too much about it getting snagged with that weedless hook design. All right, so we're drifting nicely at just under half a knot in 8 meters of water with that drogue, and I'm going to show you how I work these black minnows. I've switched down to a size 2. Only doing a little cast because I do like to keep in good contact with the lure because I'm fishing it near the bottom. I don't like having it too far away from the boat because then I get a good feeling as to whether it's in a hard snag or it's just sitting on top of a rock or just sitting on top of a bit of kelp. But the black minnow weedless design is a really good way to fish in and around the kelp for the kelp donkeys. So let's see if we can get on a couple of wrasse here with the black minnow. I do really enjoy the fight of a wrasse in shallow water. Not something I'd target in anything more than sort of 15-20 meters really, but in the shallow water they have a really good return rate and they don't suffer with the barotrauma like they do in the deeper water. This is when you get most of the bites, when the rod and the lure's just below the boat and you've got that really good sort of sensitivity. And even though this is only a 10-gram lure, it's working just fine in 10 meters of water. Oh, that was a bite. Yep, fish. Oh, good one, good one, good one, good one. Good fish. Taking me right out into the reef. Let's tighten up on that drag. Come on, get him out. Yep, it's a good wrasse. That is exactly what I was saying. When you get it close to the boat and you have really good contact with it, that's when it's usually going to smash it. Nice ballan wrasse there. Oh my goodness. Look at that fish. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Wow. That's a pretty wrasse, isn't it? Let's see if we can... I'll get the net out for this one, I think, because I am using a light rod here with 12-pound leader, and they do have teeth for us, so there's every risk that it catches on the 12-pound fluoro. It will snap it in the net. That's a lovely fish. Nice heavy wrasse, that one. Lovely big head on it. Let's see if I can hold him up for the camera. I'm not going to put him on the deck because he might pop it, but the tubes are a bit better for resting them on, I find. I'm going to hold him up for the camera, show you guys. What a stunning fish. Awesome colors on them. I really do enjoy catching these big girls down here in Cornwall. Stunning colors on them, right in close to shore. Really good fun. And he's come unhooked, so no barra trauma on this guy. He's going to go straight back. That's how it's done. All right, we got a little fish on here on the black minnow. Only tiny, maybe a little pollock. Oh, look at that cuckoo wrasse. That's a beauty. Whoo-wee. Wow. That's a cool looking cuckoo wrasse. Not very big, but amazing colors on that. That's exactly what I was going for with this black minnow, was a wrasse. That is an absolute stunner. So you can probably see behind me the white caps on the water. So there is a little bit of movement, it's a little bit choppy. But on these small sibs, these light air decks, you know, this thing weighs less than I do. It's really important to balance weight because I've only got a light outboard on the back. I've got all of my kit up there in the bow, and I'm kneeling on the deck so that I can shift my weight up to the front of the boat. I'm trying to level it out. If I sit at the back here, all right, the bow's going to rise up. And that's all right, that will keep me nice and dry. But really, we want the boat sitting fairly flat. So I'm shifting my weight forwards right now. I'm leaning my backside against the tube. And then we've got a really good weight distribution. And the tiller is just about long enough for me to control it. And this, we're just, you know, we're up on the plane now at half throttle, sort of doing 12 knots. And we're just gliding over these white caps. Really not a lot of, it's not bouncing around much at all, this boat. You'd think for something so light it would, but when you get the weight distribution right, it rides lovely. I'll open her up for a bit now. Full throttle. She starts jumping and sniffing a bit more now. Woo! But it's so much fun. It's pretty shallow in here, so I'm going to take it slow. Woo! Look at that water. That is beautiful. But it took me no time at all, 10-15 minutes to get from out there 2 miles out, where it is a bit lumpy and uncomfortable. And now we're in here. It's lovely. It really is looking tropical in here. Look at that water. That is amazing. All right, I'm going to pull the boat up on the beach. Well, it's another nice thing about a light sib like this air deck one is, I can just pull it up on the beach by myself, no problem. I'll get it up out of the waves there. There we go. Great fun for beach hopping, these little boats. And what's nice is there's no one else here. This is a private beach as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, lovely. The watercolor is just insane right now. It's like being back in Bermuda, and it's pretty warm as well. I think this is going to be a good spot for a sandwich break. It's low tide now, and I'm going to spend a bit of time trolling along this rocky stretch of coast because the wind has picked up significantly. We've got whitecaps. I don't really fancy fishing in deeper water on the drift. I think we're going to be better off trolling for a bass. And I hardly ever use shallow divers or any sort of hard plastic lures, but I am today. I'm going to try this one. I can't even remember what it is. I've got a feeling it's a mega bass, but it's just a nice white sort of pearlescent shallow diver that's going to go down to about 1/2 meter. So that should be perfect really along here, and you can see where the reef is. You can probably see the outline of it on the camera where it goes from dark to light. So we're going to try and hug the sort of edge of the reef line that I can see. Just to keep that outboard in tick over. All right, just got it in forward, in tick over, rod in hand. See if we can pick up a bass. Well, we've trolled all the way along the coast to Seaton, and this place is a major throwback for me from the days before I ever did YouTube, before I'd even heard of a crazy paddle tail. This is where it all started for me on a kayak. I used to come out here on my ocean kayak Prowler, I think it was, 13 foot, and I used to launch off the beach here, and I'd go no more than 1/2 mile off the shore here, fishing with feathers and bait and just sort of making it all up. Before I even had a fish finder, I'd just look for a lobster pot marker, and that's where I'd fish. And those were good days. So it's nice to come back here and sort of reminisce on those times, and they were good. But I'm going to change it up now. We're going to troll back along the way that we've just come, and I've seen loads of small sand eel in the water. There is a lot of bait around at the moment, so I'm going to troll a crazy paddle tail, as that has worked for me so far today. And yeah, a little bit more disturbance in the water now. That wind has picked up quite a bit, but we'll be all right, trolling nice and slowly back along the coast. Fingers crossed for a bass. Yeah, fish on here. I actually just stopped trolling, and I wanted to check the lure to see if it had any weed on it. And then as I'm bringing it in, we get a nice take. Whew, that's a bass. Yes, people, that's what we wanted. Funny that, how I've been trolling for like 1/2 mile, not a knock. And then as soon as I stop trolling and just start winding normally, working the lure, we get a fish. And it's a bass. Yes, not a bad one. Bet he goes 42. Lovely bass. That might be dinner tonight, I think, people. Let's take a look at him. Yeah, that's a 42 centimeter fish any day. Oh, big old swell coming in here now. Look at the colors on that. Really nice light one. He's been living over the sand, I expect. Nice fish, nice bass. Probably around sort of 45, 47 centimeters, somewhere around that. But much better stamp of fish. Now, what I like to do with these guys is hold them in the gill like this and thumb in the mouth. That's just going to stop them from wriggling out, because yeah, it's going to be pretty fatal if I drop this on the air deck. As you can see, we are very close to shore, but that's what we come here for. I might let this guy go actually. I reckon we can get this. I reckon we can get another one later on, so I'm going to slide this one back actually. This is lucky day. There you go, buddy. Well, we've trolled all the way back to where we started and just not picking up much using this method today, which, well, that's the way it goes. Tried covering the ground, but just weren't having it today. So I still want to get a decent bass. I'm going to head back over towards Looe Island, beating into this wind and swell here, and see if we can get onto some bass around the island there. Well, I'm back in Looe Bay now, and check out all of these boats in here. They weren't here when I left. These are all Looe luggers, an old wooden sailboat design. Should go have a look at some of them. I think there's some sort of race or regatta sort of festival thing for them this weekend. So yeah, there's quite a few of them. Let's go take a look. Lovely looking boats. I've never seen so many anchored up in the bay. Look at these boats, so aren't they just timeless? Even now, you know, 100 years on from when these things would have been built. Beautiful looking boats. Probably quite comfortable on board with the wooden layup, very heavy. I imagine 100 odd years ago there wouldn't have been any inflatable boats. There would have been these full boats. White Nancy, that's the one over there in front of us, and they're all sort of similar size, but some of them have open decks and others have cabins. But I believe that these are all Cornish built boats. Very nice. And they're probably quite happy to have this wind. Certainly help them get here quicker. It's just, I can look over, I'm looking over towards Plymouth, and there's just more and more on their way. So I expect the bay will be full of these boats by this evening. Well, it's pretty oceanic out here now. I mean, this is where we were 6 hours ago, and yeah, it just goes to show how quickly it can change. But it's still within the comfort limits of this boat. Yeah, there's a bit of swell and we're taking a bit of spray over the side, but the good thing about these light boats, and I can't stress it enough, is they do just sort of ride over the top of it. So sort of whatever you're comfortable in, the boat will handle it. I'm going to try and show you guys just what it's like riding through this. Side onto the swell. Trying to keep the speed up. Just trying to keep as little as the boat in the water and just ride over it. It's not that bad. Woo! Crazy to think this is only a 50 kilo boat. We're just riding into it. Look at this. Wow. It's actually quite a lot of fun, believe it or not. As mental as it looks. You can just feather the throttle, like I'm doing, over the waves, just dipping it every now and then, so that you don't smash into it if it's a big one. And then giving it the beans when it needs it, like this. Now we've got a nice smooth patch. Give it the beans. Back off for that bit. Give it the beans. Woo! Happy days. Well, it's just too wild to fish out there. So I've come in between Looe Island and Hannaford, and there's reef all along here in kelp forests. So let's have a go along here, maybe for a wrasse or bass. I'm going to use the new Fish Master Shad in pearl blue. Such a deadly colour, this, and I really want to give this lure a good bit of time in the water over the next few months, just to see how it fishes in comparison to the trusted black minnows and crazy paddle tails. I mean, anything that fish make has had a lot of time and development put into it, so they're confident it's going to catch. I just got to build up the confidence myself, and it's really the first time that I've used them today. And I'm going to fish it exactly the same as I would with a crazy paddle tail. It's just it's a bigger profile body, which is advantageous when there's a lot of whitebait or pilchards, even herring, those sort of things. And there's a lot of those around, and that's what the fish are switched onto. That's going to be a good lure to use instead of a crazy paddle tail, which is obviously a sand eel. Oh, there's a fish. There we go. First, oh, he come off. Oh no, he's on again. First cast, and we're on a fish. I think it's a wrasse. No, it's a bass. It is a bass. How's that? And there's more following it. Yeah, it works. You would think that was staged, but there's no such thing in fishing. Nice bass. I mean, he's probably around the sort of 42 centimeter mark. Full of energy. Absolutely engulfed it. Right, I gotta be careful here because he's gonna want to spike me. Yep. Just be careful when they're thrashing around like that, guys. Some bass like this, you can grab them like that and just avoid the spines. And look, he really did want that lure. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? As proof when it's that deep down. All right, they work. Pearl blue is such a deadly color though. I mean, so is khaki. Don't get me wrong, khaki on its day, especially in estuaries, is a great color. But I really like pearl blue when it's, especially when it, I don't know why, but when it feels like really wild and oceanic like this, pearl blue just gets them every time. All right, check this out. Bit of a change of scenery from where we were. I realized it's basically high tide and it's quite a big tide today. So I thought I'd see how far up the West Looe River I could get. I've never been this far before, but it looks pretty deep up here. And to be honest, it'd probably be really good bass fishing up here on a big tide like this. As big bass do like to go up the rivers as far as they can get on a big tide. But there's so much seaweed on the surface. I don't know if you can see it. It's hardly worth fishing, but it is worth exploring. And this is the great thing about a sib, an inflatable boat, is you can just go up the really skinny, shallow waters and I don't have to worry about it getting stuck. It looks pretty deep here, actually. I'd probably say there's a few meters of water under the boat. This looks like a nice little place here. I've just rested the sib on a pole there. It's like someone put it there just for me. Really nice little place up here. I've never been up here in all the years that I've been launching a boat in Looe. I've never come this far up the West Looe River. I was just looking in this little creek here. And it's amazing how much life there is. The river is just alive at the moment. There's so much bait in here, you know, crabs, shrimp, small fish. I mean, look at this. That is just all small fish there. I don't know if you can see it. It's just full of tiny, are they shrimp or they fish? Oh no, they're little shrimp. Don't know how well the camera is going to pick it up. And there's little fish underneath them. That's amazing. Let's see if I can do a little underwater shot of them. Just take a look at how small this boat folds down to, and I probably could have got it even smaller if I was putting effort into it. It just blows my mind how it can go and do 8 miles on 4 litres of fuel, and then it packs down into the boot of just about any car. If you're on the fence about getting one of these sibs, my advice would be just to go and get it, because you will enjoy it, and I certainly did today. We got onto some good fish, had a good little adventure. Thanks very much for watching. I really recommend coming down here to Looe. It's a great place to get on the water and have some fun. Thanks for all the nice comments, guys, on all of my previous videos. I do read them. It always brings a smile to my face. So thanks for motivating me, guys. I really appreciate it. And that's it for this video. See you on the next one.